What's up, everybody? This is Hainsey's Cave Talk. I'm your host, Chris Haynes, aka Hainsey. Today is the MMA Show with James Boogie Purdue. What's up, Boogie?
What's going on, brother?
Our monthly show, you know, we're getting it. Yeah,
gotta have it.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little rhythm going. This is a couple months now, our third show. So let's get it going, man.
I like it. Let's get it going, man.
All right. So before we get into this week's UFC, there was a fight this past weekend that was an eye-opener in the MMA world. There was so many people, a mass following of Bo Nickel fans. You were either skeptical and just really hated on him, a lot of public did, or you had like some wrestling fan bases that, like college wrestling, that were really rooting for him, and it was an eye-opener. You want to explain what happened, Boogie?
I mean, and you know my feeling on Bo Nickel. He is an outstanding wrestler. He never fought anybody with that type of experience before. I mean, okay, so when he fought the last fight, but it's not a real person who could hit him with and can damage him. You know, Paul Craig is a submission guy, and that's it. And he's barely a submission guy.
Right.
But he ran into DeRitter, who is a elite kickboxer, and jiu-jitsu is unparalleled. Wrestling defense was on point.
Experience?
A massive experience, but I knew I couldn't believe the bet. I think he was minus 300 at one time.
360 is what he ended up, minus 360.
360, and I'm losing my mind. Like, there is no way he's going to win this fight. Zero chance. If you look at the sheer size, DeRitter is massive.
Massive.
And I mean, he has to cut a lot of weight to get. Bo loses a little bit of weight to get to 80. He's not an 85-pounder. He needs to drop down.
Absolutely. And
that's
me talking about Bo Nickel going forward. There's no future at 185.
No, and
it's at 170 only. You know,
85. He is not going to beat anybody in the top 15 ever. They're just too big. They're too skilled. And Dana took care of him. He handpicks his opponents for a while. So, but you're coming.
I will say this. I'll say this about Bo Nickel. They were doing the right things. Like you said, he was handpicking. He was gradually going up, okay? Paul Craig, like he said, wasn't a threat standing. It was a great jiu-jitsu guy. It was a boring stand-up match because both guys lacked stand-up skills. Mm-hmm. But it was a nice little build momentum. Whenever he just made that leap, it erased everything he did because you found out really where Bo Nickel is. And he's not even... He's borderline UFC caliber at this moment, you know?
That weight class, you can't... He has to do some assessment. 85, he is too small for the weight class. He wrestled an elite jiu-jitsu guy, a decent wrestler. He controlled him for the first round a little bit, but he couldn't hold him down like he could all the other opponents. And it was only... I mean, I thought he would catch him in a submission, but the stand-up where the kickboxing came in, when he hit him with the first knee... And you've seen him stop breathing. If you watch the video, he stops breathing.
Oh,
and he puts the first one, hits, his arms go down, and he's trying to tough it out. But you know, like, he's trying to find his breath.
And he was fish out of water. He was you can see it in fights when guys are just not used to or comfortable getting hit. And he never felt that before. And as soon as he did, he didn't have a poker face. So he was hurting.
And the second one hit him and dropped. I mean, personally, just because... Bo is a really good wrestler, don't get me wrong. He is a real cocky, arrogant. I mean, he's a 4-time NCAA champion. I can never do that. But he's so arrogant and so toxic to me because he walks around. He thinks like he was going to fight
Chimaev.
Yeah, Chimaev would have ripped his head off easily and laughed at him, but wasn't even close.
Yeah,
I mean, 185 is not for him. He has to go down to where he can't be muscled around. I mean,
I always thought Bo Nickel was like the American Khabib. He was going to put the pace, use his wrestling, and he was really just going to outwork guys until he was able to get the skills up to par. I always had faith in him, and I didn't completely lose faith in him. It's just a long road. He's not going to catapult like some of these other guys because he ain't ready. But the one thing that really disappointed me was he said, as the fight goes on, he goes like this. He didn't make it around before he went like that. And he completely flatlined. And after the first round, he was mentally defeated. He was exhausted after the wrestling exchange. He was kind of He had it for a second down on the ground,
No
but he got
answer.
reversed, and he had no answer. I mean, but I didn't think he'd be very good on his back yet in this game. But like, he was just holding on for dear life.
Yeah,
it was
he was waiting for the whistle. Hey, let's start back up. But then stand up. Bo, they said his mom was a boxer or something. He
has a left. He has a
Yeah,
left.
I mean, he got one shot, and like the guy is not ready. 185, he needs abandoned completely.
Yep, and
He's
I
got
agree.
a lot of baby fat on him. He can lose down. He can get to 70 easy. 70 simple.
Yeah, right. And he's cut weight his whole life.
Yeah, it's not you. That he's just. I mean, and DeRitter's really not a huge. I mean, imagine like.
I mean, he's a big 185er. They said the only guy in the top 10 that would be Bo Nickel's size is Robert Whitaker because he fluctuates. But like all those guys, once you get past DeRitter, they are all big. And like Boogie said, most of them are bigger, But DeRitter is a big guy. You can see it.
I mean, but because he's an 85 fighter.
Yes, yes.
And Bo is just not You see just the body. Like I said, he's not ripped. He's got a lot of, I would say, baby fat, but I mean, he's got a lot of room to make 70. And that's where he needs to direct. And plus, he has to get some heart. He took 2 shots and quit. Remember, they're liver shots to a good guy with some good Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But I mean, DeRitter's not a striker. He is a wrestler.
No, and he usually blocks punches with his face.
Yeah.
No, lacks head movement, But
he took 2 hits, and he was looking for a way out. The second liver shot gave it to him, and once like I said, the first round was over. It was history. He knew. All right, maybe I talked a little too much smack. He came in.
Yeah,
and
he was very humbled.
Lost when he on the stool. He was lost.
Yeah. And I'm telling you what, it could make or break a fighter. I've seen fighters bounce back from losses. I've seen Henry Cejudo get a title shot way too early in his career, responded well. Mm-hmm. There's guys that can. I just think right now he needs to take like a year off. Or fight some cans, but like I would take a year off. I would work on my game, and I would just abandon the striking and just be a wrestler. You can go win a world title and not know how to strike if you're a monster at wrestling.
100%. You can control somebody. Look at Bilal. We're talking about later.
Yeah.
He has okay boxing, but he is. I'm going to take you down, advance my position a little bit of ground and pound. All the rounds over. I won a round.
Right.
There's going to be 5 rounds of that. You can do that.
He can do that.
He has to get some heart because I mean there were two shots dropped him.
Yeah.
And the kid, he should have. I mean, DeRitter probably should have put some ball on him, but
he could have. But as soon as he turned, he crumbled. That was it. Here's the thing I wanted to ask you. So, the day before the fight, DeRitter looked absolutely drawn out on the scale, and I said, I think Bo Nickel might just be able to wear him out and get a TKO because he looks like he sucked himself out to make that weight. Obviously, he rehydrated, ballooned up to his normal size, and was fine. But my question to you is, where do you think Bo Nickel walks around at? How much weight do you think he cuts? Or is he just like a natural 185 that he thought he could just be that and make it work?
I watched a little bit of the lead up of the countdown to it. He did his normal little bit of water load, but he probably walks around, in my opinion, 195.
You think so? He's not cutting much at all. A lot of guys cut 18, 20 pounds fight week. He's cutting 10.
Yeah, that's my guess. I'm sure we could look it up somewhere, but there's just the way his body size is.
Yeah,
he's got little, like I said, a little bit of chub. I mean, don't look at me, but he's got a little bit of baby fat on it. He can lose if he wants to. If he wants to continue in MMA, he has to go down to 70. And I mean, now that he's built up this name, where's he going to fight? He can't fight anybody at 85 now. I mean, you can't go back down to the cards. Or you're going to make a year off, reassess his head, get a new game plan, like you said, get a weight regimen going, get down to 70, and then make your debut at 70 at some.
And a lot of times, a new weight class is like a new beginning for some of these fighters. Sometimes they got to move up, sometimes they got to move down. It's tough. You got to figure it out. But I think the only way you do figure it out is in the cage. He found out that he wasn't big enough for 185.
Well, look at Kevin Holland. There's a good example right there. Kevin Holland, 170.
Monster.
He is a monster. I mean, 85, he gets dominated because he's just not. He can get down. He needs to be down there. It sucks to make weight. I've done it. Trust me, it sucks. But when you're a professional wrestler, you make that kind of paycheck. He has got to be better than if it's not at 170, he's history. There's nobody 85. Where are you going to put him on a card for 85? Who are you going to match him up against?
Yeah, right. I mean, you're gonna go down. He's gonna be back where he was fighting borderline UFC guys or like over the hill vets just to keep him relevant. But like knowing who Bo Nickel is and like you said, how cocky he is because he's won so much. The competitiveness in him, he's not going to stick around unless he thinks he can win a world title. He's just not going to be a journeyman. He's just not.
I mean, he's a good wrestler, I guess. I think we talked about this before. He is excellent wrestler in college. He never made an Olympic team. Never made an alternate Olympic team.
Right.
So he wasn't even the best wrestler in his weight class to make the Olympics to be there. So I mean, he has his niche and he has to keep it there. But if he doesn't drop down to 70, his career is over. I think 9 months, like you said, is good. 9 months to 12 months.
Yeah.
Clear his head. Get on a weight regimen, get down to 70, and get him a decent name at 70 that he could hang with. Again, they'll feed him somebody decent, but somebody that's people who know it is.
Yeah, and we're going to be against each other here because I always said I thought Bo Nickel would be an American champion in the UFC, and I'm going to say I'm not writing him off yet. I'm not. I think if he has the same game plan as Khabib and gets his head right, he's never going to be a world-class striker. You're not going to be able to strike with guys that's been striking their whole life, and you're trying to learn in 2 years. Find your lane, stay in your lane, it's great, and you might be able to prosper. So we'll see.
At 70, I would agree. At 85, forget it.
Forget it. I agree.
There's zero chance.
I agree.
But again, now, Khabib, I mean, whenever you're in Dagestan growing up, you're fighting. If you listen to what he says, like they street fight. There's no like, hey, they're fighting all the time. Bo Nickel's in wrestling room, wrestling around, learning his craft of wrestling.
Yeah,
he's not fighting. He don't have the heart that Khabib has. Like Khabib's going to go out there. He has the mindset. You're going to kill the with Conor. You're going to kill me. And I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to jump in a cage. I'm going to go kill your people.
Yeah, right.
So that's the way the mindset he had. Bo Nickel doesn't have that. He has to turn a switch. Maybe at 70, get a couple wins in, and then get him a little tougher fight.
Yeah.
But my goal is he may get ranked at 70, in my opinion. He doesn't have the heart to be in a scrap, bleeding, the fifth round.
I can't argue that at this point because he turned from
there
war.
Was one, he only had one time he was tested.
Yeah,
and
he turned from
quit.
it.
He quit, in my opinion.
He did.
It was a liver shot. Don't get liver shots, shut your body off, guaranteed. But he looked for a way out after the first round.
Yes, he did. So we're going to move on. We already... destroyed Bo Nickel's name as much as, it was going to happen.
But I never had thought much of him anyways, and so...
Yeah, we had to lead off with the show because that was something that was an eye-opener,
Yeah.
All right, so in the same night, the main event was like the undercard with Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueiredo. It was a very pivotal match. Corey Sandhagen just completely dominated the ex-champ. He was ahead of him every step of the way. Would you agree?
Yeah, but Figueiredo, he was a weight bully at 25.
Yeah.
Whenever you go up, there's a difference. We just talked about Bo. When you go up a weight class, you can't control people at 30 like he did. And Sandhagen is a master. Can he still knock somebody out at 35? Yes.
Yeah. He just couldn't make weight at 125 Figueiredo anymore, so he had to move up. He was missing weight. It was killer for him. Yeah. They said he had an injury he was dealing with, in camp for the fight, but I don't know. I just know Sandhagen completely dominated in the way that his ACL or MCL, whatever it was, that popped.
Oh yeah.
That was on Figueiredo. He should have sat back like Sandhagen sat. He sat up and he just wrenched it and popped it.
He knocks people out at 125. Okay, he's got good boxing. He didn't want to exchange with Sandhagen. He wanted to try to take him down.
Yes, he did.
Sandhagen's a jiu-jitsu master. You can't. He's hurt a lot of people like that. Sandhagen's dangerous at 35. I don't know if he'll ever get the title, but
I was going to say, I think he's one of those guys that's going to be great, but he's never going to be a title holder because the two guys in front of him, Umar and Merab, he can't hold it. No. He can't even, he's lost to Umar, right? I don't know if he's lost to Merab or not. I don't know if he's but I know he's lost to Umar. And,
did I think Peter Yan beat him, or did he beat?
And he wants to fight Peter Yan again, I think.
But but that's the thing. You can't. That when you're at 25, you got a switch in your hand, you knock him out. Why he didn't try to stand with Sandhagen, maybe because the length, you see how
he's
Sanhagen's
massive,
long,
yeah.
And I don't know, wrestling was never going to work. If that was his game plan coming in, the coaches need to get fired because
absolutely he's
Sanhagen,
turned it into a jiu-jitsu match. It was a
you're wrong. You're that long, and I mean you should try to strike, maybe land some man, work your, because he's going to eat a couple to get in, but he has a potential to hit somebody, knock somebody out.
And then Figueiredo was saying, like, he was trying all these leg locks, and Sanhagen was like, I trained with some of the best 50-50 guys. Ryan Hall's the best in the world at that position. He trains at him every day. He said there was not a shot that he was ever going to get caught in that. He was more comfortable than ever being down there, and it showed because anytime that Figueiredo went for any kind of grip to, like, really wrench, he was getting punched in the face because Sanhagen had the right position. He was just hammering down and waiting it out. You know what I mean?
That was just a bad game, like I said. That had to be the game plan. So I don't understand why you wouldn't stand up. Like I said, unless there was an injury.
Unless, like he said, an injury is true, and he was just really trying
possibly, but I mean, you're not going to win the jiu-jitsu match against him. Get in, take a couple shots, you can knock him out.
Right.
You can't stay at distance because he's going to kill you, pick you apart. You have to get inside, take a couple shots to get in, not die for a leg like I mean, you're just not.
But to give Corey Sanhagen some credit, he came in, did what he needed to do, dominated the fight, put himself in the title picture, and we'll see where that goes.
I think he's next. I mean, it depends what happens with, Sugar Sean?
It depends on what happens with Sugar Sean. It depends on if they put him with Umar again. If they're not sold on Corey Sanhagen, we'll see. The future's always there. The fights are there to come. But let's move on. UFC 315 this Saturday. We got a card that's not, I wouldn't say the biggest hype train behind it. Usually when they go to Montreal, they stack a bunch of Canadians on it. This time, they don't have a ton of good Canadian fighters, but they stacked the card with them anyways. So we got what we got, you know.
It's a Montreal card. What are you going to do? There's no.
So the main event, we have Bilal Muhammad, 24-3, versus Jack Della Maddalena. How do you say it?
Maddalena.
Yeah, Maddalena. We call him JDM. He's 17-2. That's for the welterweight championship. And then in the co-main event, we have maybe one of the GOATs of all time for the women's flyweight. We have Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. And that's going to be, my opinion, a very, very competitive fight. The rest of the card rounds out. We'll get into it. But the first fight I want to talk about was Natalie Silver and Alexa Grasso. I think that's going to be a pretty good fight. You got any thoughts on that, Boogie?
Grasso needs to get another win. She's got to get back there and get back into contention. This is a chance for her to get her name back, get back in the title comparison. You know what I mean, she was this close. I mean, she already won the title, and then the second one, she got dominated in the wrestling, but this is the one she needs to get back into it, and then she can call out the winner of this fight after she's done, which, I mean, there's really no really good contenders at.
Yeah, it's a very... the women's MMA right now is lacking depth. There's a few names out there, but the rest, like you said, like there's not somebody chomping at the bit. In this fight, though, I think Natalia Silva is going to keep it standing, circle. Alexa Grasso's money on the ground. She's money, but I don't know if she's going to be able to get her on the cage. If she takes her down early, you'll show how the fight's going to play out. But if she can't, I could see Silva. She has great leg kicks. She switches her stance like crazy. She moves. She's not bad to look at too, but she's pretty sharp when it comes to stand up.
Yeah, I mean, Grasso can get caught. Grasso is okay standing up. She can just hold her own, but you said where she makes her money is on the ground, wrestling, gets submissions in. If she gets the early takedown, like you said, that's going to be probably a long 5 rounds of boring takedown, hold you out, and try to stand up. Maybe you don't get caught when you get to the ground. We'll see how if she controls her on the ground, if she has a little bit of defense to get up when she gets taken down.
So what I'll say about this fight is the one thing that comes to mind, the one word that comes to mind when it comes to this fight is technical. I think technical, it's going to be a lot of, the striking's going to be crisp. The switch stances are going to be crisp. It's going to be just a flow. And if Grasso gets her on the ground, it's going to be a lot of high level technicality with jiu-jitsu. It's just going to be constant, trying to transition, find the submission. It's going to be a nice cat-mouse game. I think Silva's going to get it done, but it's going to be a coin flip in my opinion, but the
Yeah.
odds makers have it Silva like minus 190. I don't think it should be there. I think it should be
Kinda
about
high,
a coin
I
flip.
would say
Yeah.
pick them because that's not that could go either way because you don't know. Like I said, I can't think of Silva's many fights that she's been taken down. So that's going to be the biggest down. If she Grosso takes her down and can hold her,
Yeah.
it's going to be a long night of just that.
And
then,
you're talking about a ex-champ that has experience in Alexa Grasso that's fought Valentina Shevchenko multiple times. Yeah, tapped her out. One of the worst rear naked chokes I've ever seen. When she released the squeeze of Valentina's chin, it was completely white. I've never seen that in my entire life. This is the next champ with a lot of heart. She has that Mexican background. It's going to be a very tough fight, and I would say it's probably going to go to decision. Either way, it might get some boos, but it's going to be a good fight for an MMA lover.
Yeah, I mean, like, you and I can watch it and understand the ground, how, like you said, the technique on the ground and the transitions in the wrestling, and so we can understand that. Anybody that's drunk in Montreal, oh, boy,
Right.
I mean, they don't understand what they're seeing.
Right,
It's not-
and they're starting to, the announcers on the commentators are starting to really get fed up with the booing when they're
what's your
laying
problem?
down.
Yeah.
They're like, and they're like, you're getting so spoiled.
They don't understand the high level of jiu-jitsu, the trend. I mean, they don't understand how technical it is down there. It's not just let's lay and pray.
Right.
I mean, they're transition. They're working just submission. They're trying to improve their position on top.
So past UFC events, we're talking, we'll say 5+ years ago, maybe even longer, when a guy got down that was a pure wrestler and the guy didn't have the stand or the ground skills, we seen it lay there for 5 minutes and that was it.
John Fitch.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of guys that's been like that. Jake Shields, there's guys that just did it, you know. But MMA's evolved, and a lot of guys they may not have the best wrestling, but they have great get-up game. So a lot of guys can get to the fence and get up, and they'll just keep doing that until they eventually get some space and fight. So like the lay and pray era is almost gone, and thankful because what the UFC fans are booing at with the lay and pray, that's not it right now.
No, it's not. They don't understand. They don't understand what they're looking at. I mean, they should. I mean, we're getting into later about GSP. Hopefully, Montreal is a little more educated of how the ground game works and how intricate the transitions are. Like I said, you're trying to prove on top, move over to guard. I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff going on. How hard it is to go from side control to mount. I mean, people don't understand.
Right, absolutely.
It looks like, oh, they're just running around. They're not. No, they're both trying. One's blocking, one's trying. If they don't know what they're looking at.
Especially when they could just be in side guard or half guard, and if they get that arm where they can get it trapped, within a second, it's an arm triangle, and they're gone, they're done, they flipped over. So, like, it's always, in my mind, a second away from ending when you watch the transition.
And they know, like you said, and they where they start to move, that's fine, but they know because they can't keep that hand in position. Their arm gets caught. They know it's history, so they can't overextend themselves. That's why it's a chess match. You have to know what you're looking at.
Yeah, especially a guy that's great in jiu-jitsu on his back. The guy on top, if he puts both arms on a mat, one of them's getting grabbed. And that's something that you don't see or don't think about. So you always see where they're trying to keep their hands off the mat because if both of them's on the mat, one of them's getting grabbed because they're vulnerable. And it's a lot of chess match on the ground game that a lot of people don't understand. That's fine. It's slow, but when the fans boo it, the guys that are going to the event should understand it, and it's frustrating.
I'll say this. A lot of the referees now aren't, except for, what's his name? The British guy, who stands everybody up all the time.
Mark Goddard?
Yeah, he's an idiot. And when they're on the ground, he stands them up. All the other officials are letting them work on the ground.
Yeah.
Mark Goddard, oh, get them on, fight. Like, asshole, they're fighting. What are you talking about? You know what they're looking at. He just wants to stand up and throw fists. I get it, but the referees are all starting to come around to, hey, give them some time to work on the ground, and you can see what's going on. You can see.
You can tell if somebody's trying to take a break or not. You know what I mean? Or really actively working.
You get lazy on your back. You get lazy on top. You're going to get triangled or armbarred. I mean, it could be that quick. Like you say, you're that close to being submitted. It's instantly.
So the card in general is a lot of Canadian fighters fighting a lot of low level, but there are going to be some exciting matchups. There's a couple I want to talk about, but we're gonna get through the main card before I even discuss any of the surprise fights that I could see on the prelims, maybe. So the next fight in the main card is a legend, Jose Aldo, fighting Almain Zahabi. brothers, the famous coach Faris, is that his name? Yeah, Faris Sahabi. It's an intriguing matchup. Eye opener today. During weigh-ins, Jose Aldo weighed in at 143, and that was with 30 minutes left. He drew himself down trying to make weight and still missed by 8 pounds. That's shocking, man, for a vet like that.
A pro. There has to be an injury because as many years he has in, I can't see him being lazy and not making. There had to be a reason that he couldn't lose, in my opinion. So, I mean, we'll have to look at the odds, see how much they sway, because him not making weight, they made it a catch weight and still barely made it.
Yeah,
but
he's at, the catch weight's 145. Now they're fighting a whole weight division higher. Usually a catch weight is 5 pounds. So seeing 10 pounds is pretty crazy. I don't think Amin Sahabi does anything special, man.
Just because of his name.
He's Canadian. I'm pretty sure he's in front of the hometown. Jose Aldo is minus 190. I guarantee you that the odds flip. If they don't, jump on Sahabi. My bet, I have a 3-leg parlay that I'm going to talk about later. My first leg, it's this fight not to go the distance because I think Jose Aldo is going to come out, and if he is hurt, he's going to go for broke, try and knock him out in the first minute, and then completely collapse and fall off the face of the earth.
Agree 100% because he's been years and years. Didn't he retire almost once or came back? And
he retired once.
So
came back
he's an older, but he's a professional and he doesn't miss weight. If he misses weight that bad, there has to be an underlying issue to not make it. So, like you said, keep your eye on the odds, but I think that's a very good bet on a parlay right there. It's not going distance. Either he can catch him, and
it's weird because Sahabi is not like this huge finisher. I think he has. Out of his 12 wins, I think he has 6 finishes. So about 50%. But when you get to the UFC, that number drops because the competition gets higher. So when you look at the fight to not go the distance, the odds right now, when I looked before Jose Aldo was drained completely, it was plus 260. I could see that number drop and plummeting. But like if you could bet it, whenever you see his video, do, because I don't see there's a shot in hell this makes a decision.
There's no way. I don't think it's just impossible. It's not. I mean, although like I said, he's professional, he's not going to miss that weight unless something tragic is going on. He's not going to pull out of the fight. So maybe he just behind the scenes we don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're talking about a multiple-time champion, and then coming up in a WEC, coming up in a different weight class, contending for the title there. You're talking about a guy that's been fighting forever, and I have a huge respect for. Big fan of Jose Aldo for years. I love his style. Him losing to Conor McGregor broke my heart that time. But I just don't see, man. If there's something wrong, you'd think the fight would have got canceled, being that much.
I went with me. Sahabi is a name when you're in Canada. GSP, that's who was his coach for us. So
maybe Jose Aldo's taking a dive, maybe?
I'm saying something is not right with that. You don't miss weight by that much without not trying at all or unable to try.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Can he hide whatever? I'm sure we'll learn after the fight what happened for him missing weight. But
we're gonna find out probably right after the fight.
What's going on?
Yeah, I just hope the fight don't get canceled because that sucks when a guy weighs in, they make it, and then an hour before the main card starts, they cancel it. And that sucks.
Yeah, I went with them because they say they're lightheaded and back. When it's
it could be
you know if you can make it or not. It's
so. Moving on, the next 2 fights are title fights, 5-round fights. In the co-main event, like I said, Valentina Shevchenko, she's 24-4. She's fighting Manal Farot at 12-1. I think this fight is going to be like the Silva Grasso fight. It's going to be a class or case of 2 different worlds. I think Shevchenko's going to try to wrestle, and Fiort's just going to try to stay active, pick her apart because she's bigger. She's stronger and she throws a lot, but like if she can't have no takedown defense, it's gonna be a long night for Farot.
It could be, like you said, it could be another 5-round late because Valentina's one when she gets you down mostly. And these are high level like Grasso even. She held Grasso down that second fight. Like
she dominated.
So I mean, if someone's specialty, she made it a point to say, okay, I'm gonna do 5 rounds. I'm gonna hold you there and embarrass you because you can't do it. If she does that, we'll know. Like I said, we'll know within the first round or 2. If she can't get up off the ground, forget it. It's going to be. I mean, Fiora's going to have to catch her with something, and Shevchenko's with a good chin. She's not
So I'm
get
trying
hit.
to think of the 4 losses that Shevchenko had. She lost twice to Amanda Nunes, once to Alexa Grasso. That's 3 or 4 of former champs. Amanda Nunes, in my opinion, the greatest women's MMA fighter of all time. Offhand, I can't think of the 4th loss. But you're talking about some all-time greats. That's what it takes to beat her. I've always been a fan. That if we had a stat guy, but we have power of the iPhone, don't we? But when you look at Shevchenko, her body of work, she's been all-time, always brings it. She's been main events. She's finished girls all the way. I mean, she's finished girls all the way. It sounded terrible, but I mean, she can knock them out. She can submit them. She can grind out the decision.
I mean, you might not be far off because there's been a lot of what Chael Sonnen said about her and Preacher's daughter and John Jones having 3 ways going around.
Oh Jesus!
He said so.
I never heard any of that.
Liz Carmouche.
Oh, she lost to Liz Carmouche.
Beat her in 2010.
Okay, so we're talking 15 years ago.
It wasn't even the UFC. It was the C3 Fights Red River Rivalry.
Huh. Never.
So,
and I mean, Liz Carmouche, she was in multiple organizations, including UFC.
She was a champ.
She fought. I think that was her. Was that the first fight Ronda Rousey had? Was against Liz Carmouche?
I think so.
Yeah. But like I know,
Carmouche was a champ, and then.
Oh, I mean, right now, women's MMA history is just. But when it comes to this fight, I think Shevchenko, I don't know how old she is now. I'd say 36, 37. She's only got a few left in her. I think Manon Fiorot, we're probably on opposite ends, but I think Fiorot's going to get it done. I think she's just lengthy. If she shows the bounce up and get the get up game that can at least hold up, because I think she's going to get taken down some. But I think she can win a decision. And on my 3-leg bet, that's one of my legs. I have Manon winning by decision. But when you watch this girl, she's going to tower over Valentina. She's massive for her weight class. I've seen her personally in Columbus. She outclassed Jennifer Maia, but I mean, that's a different type of fighter. I think this is her biggest test. But like, sometime there's a change in your guard. I think Saturday might be it.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right. I think it depends on what Valentina always shows up. I mean, and she was winning the Grasso fight when she got caught. So
for sure,
so
she threw a weird spinning back kick and
she got caught in that rare. It was rear naked, or was it the mounted guillotine?
She got rear naked because it was went across her jaw.
I thought like she had it but either way, she got caught. She was losing that fight. So. I mean, she came back, and like I said, she made it a point to show you, okay, I can wrestle. I'm going to do 5 rounds of taking her down. I think besides Nunes, Shevchenko is going to be the GOAT. She's got to be second because that's the only person who could beat her. They match up stylistically, but she's just a little too small for Nunes. That's why she lost.
Yeah, that's why she lost twice. So, it was always because Shevchenko was the flyweight, Amanda Nunes was a bantamweight. Shevchenko always had to come up, and she just got manhandled.
Nunes was never. She couldn't go down to 15, like not 15 to 20. 25,
25 and 35.
She was never going to make that. So she had to go up, and this is not. There's levels. There's weight class for a reason.
So the odds of the fight are about even. I think Fiort's minus 108 and Shevchenko's minus 103. So it's legit a coin flip, you know. And the money has been coming in on Shevchenko because Fiort was minus 130. So I think the fight is going to be a coin flip. But you're going to be able to find out in some of these fights like this one right away. If Shevchenko can't get her game plan going, the reach is going to be really hard for her to get in there.
If she can't get in, if you can frustrate her and keep her at distance. But Shevchenko has been willing to come in and take a couple shots to get in a position to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
If she can keep her, if Fiort can keep her distance, keep her out, and just piece her up, she could probably catch her coming in with something because she's going to have to be aggressive. Just the reach is going to be a big difference.
And let's not make a mistake. Valentino's nickname is Bullet. She's not known for her wrestling. She's known for kicking the head off people. Complete striker, world-class striker that's learned how to wrestle as her experience came. She's used it in timely fashion.
YouTube the Jessica I fight if you want to see
one of the
what she does. My God,
That's a local girl too. That,
yeah, well, I was behind. All right, let's go. And then that was such a terrible
Oh man,
knockout.
massive knockout. Head kick, put her to sleep. I mean, completely unconscious. So
I mean, it's going to be. Shevchenko's going to have to get in because Fjord can. I think if it stays up, Fjord wins. A decision. I don't think she can knock her out. But if she gets a hold of her and she can't get up, book it. It's going to be 5 rounds.
It's going to be 5 rounds, and it could end. It could be a finish. It really could.
Shevchenko's going to know. All right, I can't stand up. She's going to know early that she can't pick her apart. She's going to have to go in and take her down. And if she can't get up, don't play with fire. Do what you do best. And
the one thing I'll say about this is there's a lot of times that the crooked, corrupt judges get fights wrong.
Especially in Canada. Canada's been the worst at it.
You got Fjord. She's French. I think whoever wins this fight is going to earn it. I could see a 50-45 either way. I don't know if it stays standing. I don't know if Valentino still has the quickness to get inside to make it dirty. So I see, as good as her striking is, because her leg kicks, her body kicks is all phenomenal, but she's going to be fighting a giant.
A world-class striker, too. Maybe, probably a little bit better striker than her, technically.
Technically, because she came from striking,
But Fior is a technical crisp.
Yeah, world class. She don't finish anybody. That's the thing with her, man. But her last 2 fights, Rose Namajunas, Erin Blanchfield, both the top. Erin Blanchfield, I have high hopes for her in the future. She beat her every round. So, I mean, she looks pretty sharp. You know, I could see Fior winning the decision here. What's your official pick on the co-main event, Boogie?
I'm going to go with Shevchenko, ground and pound, 4th round. I think because it was now if she takes her down the 1st round, she pops right back up. 2nd round pops right back up. My pick is void. But if she takes her down and holds her down, she's going to end up just ground and pound and finish out because Fjord's got long, but that long is going to have joints being extended, and either she's going to have to stay tucked in, and she's going to just.
So my advice to anybody that loves watching UFC and loves to bet on it. In this fight, wait until the end of the 1st round. Don't bet it before the fight. It's going to be a coin toss. Live bet that. You'll be able to tell immediately how this fight's going to go. Now, here's the thing. If Shevchenko takes her down and she pops back up, there's not a lot of equity to that. It's if you see her take her down and hold her down, then you fire on Shevchenko.
Yeah. If she pops back up and can't, it depends on how many takedowns get stopped. If she can keep her away and how convincing it is, and she's not coming close to a takedown, or if she gets one, pops back up and keeps it standing a little bit. And, I mean, because when you're going for takedown, that's a lot of energy expended.
Absolutely,
so, I mean,
and it's less energy to defend it is.
And you got to work, because like I said, world class, probably better striker than Shevchenko. She got to be careful coming in for these lazy shots, because she can get caught. Yeah. Maybe not knocked out, but she's going to get stunned. And just, if Fjord's not going to, can knock her out, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I would say in this fight, it's safe to wait the 1st round. I don't think there would be a finish in round 1 in this fight. Like he said, his predictions, TKO in the 4th round. It's because in his mind, if she gradually breaks her down, she'll eventually get to a point where she's just hammering down and the ref will come in. But I don't see anybody one-punch knockout unless it's a fluke head kick. I say if you're going to bet the money, bet it. Wait till after the 1st round. But I'm betting personally because I'm an idiot. Manal Fjord by decision. That's my bet.
The odds aren't there. That's the only bad thing I'm worried. I mean, if you had a lot, like there's one of the crews. There was an undercard. Is like the.
It's Saint Denis.
Yeah, Saint Denis is like
minus 1100.
But so we're talking. I mean, a meteor hitting the.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to take a gamble on that, throw a couple bucks on that. I can't.
That fight just doesn't make any sense to me. So, to finish out the main card, before we talk a little bit, sprinkle in some prelims. Bilal Muhammad, 24-3. JDM, 17-2. It's another tale of different game plans. Bilal Muhammad's going to try to put the pace up against the cage, a little bit of boxing, take him down. JDM's going to stay away, space himself, and just pick him apart with crisp striking. In this matchup, I just don't see the guy that everybody wants to win in JDM having a shot, man.
It's not, I don't think so either. I mean, he has the boxing There's some people who, I don't know, I mean, I'm maybe 50-50, but saying he has like the best boxing overall for, you mean, footwork.
Is that what they're trying to say about JDM?
Yeah, that he has, I mean, he's the way he can go conventional to southpaw,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
instantly and not lose power, and his spacing is good, great boxing. They're saying he's one of the top 3 boxers in the UFC. But Muhammad is going to come in. You're right. It's going to be a 5-round snooze. I would love to see JDM just catch him and put him to sleep, because Muhammad's just such a boring fighter, man. Just enough to not stand up every time.
When I look at this fight, I see Bilal Muhammad. I see him pressing, and what I mean is he's trying to be a star, but he isn't naturally one. So he says all this stuff, and it's all empty promises. He's had 2 knockouts, or 2 finishes, in the last 9 years. That's a guy that, in our definition, is a lay in prayer. He just grinds out decisions. He says, in his head, he said in a press conference, he's not going to shoot a takedown. He's going to stand up. He's going to knock JDM out by the 3rd round.
He's a fucking liar.
He's a stone cold liar.
Because there's 0 chance he's going to stand up with anybody like that, especially JDM, who could pick him apart. Now, let's not forget, this should be...
you're talking the Russian. The Russian.
That goofy ass hat.
Oh no!
Back to the internet. He's the number 1 contender.
Shavkat Ramonov. There we go. We got it.
So he's the one who should be here, and he now, Muhammad's not going to take him down. Muhammad's not going to come here. He's going to get. That was the worst matchup for him. This is the best matchup for him.
Absolutely.
A decent name. He's going to do what he has to do. He's going to lay and pray for 5 rounds. He's going to, like he always looks every other fight, he's going to get busted up. His nose is going to bust, his eyes will be swollen shut, but he's going to win a decision, because he's going to come in, take the shots he needs to get him down, and we'll see if, but see, JDM he doesn't get taken down very much, because he's a good...
He's a good scrambler, I think, too, man.
He can scramble, and he's coming off an injury, too, from that broke away. He just had... Gilbert Burns' first kick broke his arm, and he finished the whole fight.
Yes, he did. And I will say that was one of the gutsiest performances. But outside of that performance, I was going to get to that. There hasn't been much high-level competition on his end. Bilal Muhammad's fought some top guys. You know?
If you want to go Edwards, if he's on the downhill, what's with him? I don't know how he beat.
But I will say, I hate to give Muhammad any kind of credit, because I really don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. To me, he's just like kind of corny. His game plan, I respect it, but I don't even know. I wanted to give him credit. That's what I wanted to do. He fought Sean Brady. That's one of the top guys. That looks really impressive, and he did knock him out about 2 or 3 fights ago. That was an impressive win. The Leon Edwards was an impressive win, but Leon acted like he didn't even want to be there.
If he's willing to fight, Edwards can get, but he just, whenever, I don't know how the hell he got, when he won the title, the head kick for
he was losing 4 rounds to nothing.
He was getting abused and hit a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
He won the rematch, don't get me wrong, it was a close decision, but
I think one of the most intriguing things of this whole fight card is if somehow JDM wakes up sick in the morning. If JDM would wake up sick in the morning, this fight card might go from kind of lame to explosive, because there's a guy in Ian Machado Gary that's the backup fighter that has weighed in. He is ready. That guy is going to talk the talk, and he is a good matchup, or actually a bad matchup for Muhammad, because he does have the defensive wrestling skills and could put it on him, man. That would be exciting.
If he had some time in between,
he fought 2 weeks ago.
It was a battle. Don't worry, the first 3 rounds dominated. When he got hit,
Carlos Pradas almost finished him in the 5th round.
Pradas is the guy who smoked.
So what Boogie's talking about is Machado Gary and Carlos Pradas just had a main event 2 weeks ago, and now he's coming into,
he took that fight on short notice. He took Pradas, because who was he supposed to fight?
Pradas was supposed to fight. He took a main event off somebody too.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Was it? It wasn't Buckley, was it?
No.
It was somebody like Buckley.
Yeah, it was. It would have been. It was a good fight for
was
Pradas.
it Jamal Hill? No.
No.
Jamal Hill's fighting Khalil Roundtree. Was it Roundtree? I think Roundtree was supposed to be the first.
That's light heavyweight. I don't think he would make.
Yeah, you're right.
But Prodest was scheduled, and Prodest is a.
Wow, I don't know why I was thinking those
and,
guys.
And he is a Prodest can hit. I mean, he can put people to sleep instantly.
But now it's killing me who that, because Gary saved that card.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was flat 22 days notice.
Yeah.
He stepped in. He pulled a.
Chimaev just
Yeah,
come
no,
in.
who did he pull? What's his name? He always comes in light heavyweight. Was a champ.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, kickboxer. Damn it. Just lost the belt to Ankalaev.
Oh, Alex Pereira?
Yeah, Pereira. Pereira would come in and save the pay-per-view. Hey, I'll come in and knock somebody out, and he did. And Gary did the same thing. There's 2 fights. He never had a full camp. And now, like I said, he won the first 3 rounds easy, dominated him, didn't get hit. Prodest has lightning in his hands, and he finally caught him. And Gary was like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
and
he
2
did the
rounds,
right thing.
he
He
scrambled
survived.
because
Yeah, he survived.
he was hurt. Now, has he recovered in 2 weeks? He made weight.
Yeah.
And is his brain still the same?
But you're talking about a killer in Carlos Prodest.
Yeah, Muhammad's
not going to hit him with that. If his conditioning's fine, I think it'd be exciting. So, speaking of the main event, let's get into our prediction. Both of us agree, Bilal Muhammad by decision, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a big scenario that happens here. If JDM wins, so right now, UFC 317, which is to this day about 6 weeks away, they yet to have a main event. So if JDM wins, now we have where Bilal Muhammad is not the champion at welterweight. Islam Makhachev is teammates basically with Muhammad because he's came in and trained with him. He said he wouldn't go up to 170 and fight if Muhammad was the champ. If Muhammad's not the champ, Islam definitely would step up to that 170. So I don't know if JDM could make that quick turnaround, but we know for sure Ilia Topuria is moving in. He's fighting somebody on that card.
Yeah, they're both in camp, but they
ready
don't
to
want
fight.
Say,
they just don't know who they're fighting. That's wow.
Topuria keeps saying it's a title fight. Is it going to be for the real title? Is it going to be interim title?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if Muhammad loses, he's going up.
Yeah.
Islam's coming up. And I mean JDM, I don't think he's going to get beat by.
Yeah, I think we all think JDM, but here's the scenario: it's going to go both ways. So, if Bilal Muhammad wins, which that's what we predict, Islam and Topuria are both in training camps. That fight will be announced immediately after the main event Saturday. They will announce it. They're both. Topuria is going to fight Islam at UFC 317 for the main event. That's great. That'll be an intriguing fight. If for some reason JDM pulls the upset, Islam is going to jump the standings. He's going to go fight for the belt. And that, like you said, Topuria would fight Charles Oliveira same night, probably the main event of that card, for the interim lightweight championship, in my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen.
But here's another scenario. Even though they've announced...
They announced what are you talking about?
For the BMF belt, Max Holloway.
Oh yeah, that's the end of July, 318.
But does
Poirier
and last fight for Poirier move up to fight for the interim title?
I think win or lose. I think Poirier's. I think he's going to call it a quits.
It's his last fight, but I'm saying, do you get a chance if an opportunity comes up? Sorry, Max, I got a chance. You're saying Islam goes up. And then it's Topuria is fighting somebody for the interim title.
Yeah. Do you say, I cancel my plans with a BMF and I'm going to move to 317?
And fight Topuria for the belt.
That would be a great fight.
I love it.
That would be an amazing fight. I would be rooting for Dustin so hard. Because that would be such a great fight. But
walk-off win. And
I just see he's fighting in New Orleans, his hometown, man. I think this is the way he goes out.
Yeah, I mean, But he's still, last meeting we had, we were talking about people who never won the actual belt.
Yeah.
But again, this would be for the belt because it would be vacated as soon as Islam gave up, or as soon as Islam goes up. Now the title's vacated. They're fighting for the real title.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be interim. You're right. You're right. It wouldn't be interim.
Does he win, walk off,
vacant. Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm a champion?
That would be, if they gave him the chance, that'd be amazing. What I'm hearing is Oliveira is just waiting. So I think Oliveira is on the card, shoe in for sure. They just don't have an opponent. It's crazy that UFC 317 is during International Fight Week, which is one of our opinions, the biggest UFC card of the year. They have 3 fights on the card. That's all they have. They have Manel Kape and Brandon Royval, which is a great fight. But yeah, they don't have like any kind of card.
They usually selling it. Like, boom, boom, boom. Hey, look at this big name fight.
Yeah.
Jones fell out, so that's not going to happen. So are they? They're waiting. I'm telling you, they're waiting for this to happen tonight. If he wins or tomorrow, I would bet. I can't say bet, but I would say if I'm Poirier, do you give the hey
man?
Do you get a chance to win the belt?
I never gave it a thought, but that'd be amazing, and that would be a very
he's ready.
Tempting offer, man. Because like you said,
make it. Here you go. You're fighting a guy coming up, his first fight.
He's already fought guys that he was supposed to be the gatekeeper for and knocked him out in one. With Dan Hooker and Saint Denis, he was supposed to lose both those fights. He won both of them. He still has it at a high level. That would be an intriguing matchup, man. That'd be exciting. But I don't know if he really just wants to fight in his hometown because he don't need the money. But
I'm Hunter Campbell.
You dangle the belt in front of him. You're right,
Hunter
man.
Campbell. I'm saying, hey, can you make it? You got
So there's one more fight I want to talk about in UFC 315 before we lay it to bed. It's the feature prelim, Charles Radtke and Mike Malott. Now, if you guys look on any kind of TikTok, YouTube, put in Charles Radtke. He's like the American's American. He's going into hostile territory, and he's talking a bunch of junk, man. He's USA. He's going to be booed so much. I don't know if he has the skills to beat Mike Malott. I think Mike Malott could just make it grindy, win a decision. Charles Radtke has some good stand-up skills. I'm going to be fired up for that fight because he said one day, he goes, I don't care, because they were booing the national anthem.
Yeah.
And he's like, I laid 50 flags down my grandfather's driveway that was, I think it was a Green Beret. He's like, I'm America.
He's coming. It'd be so great. I don't think he has the, I'm going to root for him.
Oh, yeah.
I think Malott's good. He's going to be, it's not going to be a
The odds are close, though. The odds are close. It's not. It's not bad. It's like minus 130. So you get Radtke at plus 140. It's not like, but I'm telling you,
he's going to feed.
He's going to chant USA on the mic. They're going to throw stuff. It's going to be. Oh man, it's going to be awesome.
Wins and he can just. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I wish they would kick the main card off of that because I think that's going to be awesome, man. Either way, if Mike Malott finishes him, takes him down, grinds him out, submits him, or even gets a decision, they're going to blow the roof off that place.
Yeah.
And they're
maybe the pay-per-view starts is going to be massive.
Yeah.
It's a good closer. Like I would like to see it being a pay-per-view for more money, but to start off the pay-per-view, it's either going to be boo or it's going to be blowing the roof off because you're Canada one.
Right. I think that's going to be in a normal circumstance. When I see that fight, that doesn't make my I don't get juiced up for it or my head turn, but the circumstances are awesome.
We're both hockey fans. We've seen
how it was.
Challenge, so there's a lot of there's a lot of patriotism going on there. But Montreal doesn't want to be Canadian anyway, so they want to be French. Yeah. So they're not. They'd rather piss on Toronto and just do their own country.
Hey, that's neither here nor there when it comes to the country.
Yeah,
we have our opinions about them. We're going to leave it at a minimum because this show is not going to turn political because I know the moment we start talking about that country up north, it ain't going to be nothing but good.
Hey, Joe Rogan himself said he'd rather go to Canada, or rather go to Russia instead of Canada.
He's not going to Montreal this weekend.
He said he'd rather go to
an
Russia.
Hour out of the country.
He'd rather go to Russia. That's how bad Canada is getting now. But
all right. So my last thing I want to talk about UFC 315, and it's just brief. We're done with breaking it down. I have a 3-leg parlay bet that I hope to God hits because anytime that I throw my name out there on these bets, something seems to happen and the things don't go right. But here's my 3-leg parlay. You put $10 to win $159. I have Manel Ferrot by decision. I have the Jose Aldo fight not to go the distance. And I have the Jessica Andrade and Jasmine Juravicius to not go the distance as well. We didn't talk about that third fight. Jessica Andrade, kill or be killed. She can knock out anybody, and she can get submitted by anybody because she's tapped multiple times. She's fighting a good ground person.
Not distance.
So I think that's got good chances on it. I'm glad you agree. I hope it hits.
I would disagree with the fewer fight, but
but that's a coin flip.
So
that's a coin flip. So it could be right or wrong, but but that's gambling, But I think the two fights that I have not to go the distance. If you two-leg those, the odds might not be as good. But I think I have really good confidence in both those fights ending in finishes.
I'm confident in both of those.
All right, so to wrap up. Oh, well, we're done with the UFC 315 talk. June 7th, UFC 316. We have a banger coming up. Juliana Pena, Kayla Harrison, and Sugar Sean O'Malley and Murad Dafishili. Dafishili. That's a tough one to say, man. I'll tell you what, one of the worst things talking MMA is learning how. It's hard to say these guys' names, man. I'm like, thank God you give like the JDMs and stuff, like RDM.
I can say their names pretty good, but just remember who the hell they are. I'm old.
You can say it.
That's real gray hair you have here, so I get it.
So I'll be excited about that. We'll go into in depth next episode on that fight card. I think that one's that's gonna have a lot more hype than this one. I'm excited for Kayla Harrison to really shut up Julia Pena. I can't stand her, man.
We loved her at the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh my God,
she
I
was
did,
the best,
man.
and then she got hurt because fat ass and can't break her leg. But
we have two more segments. First segment I want to get into is every episode, the last two, we've showcased an MMA fighter. Somebody that we've either had a ton of respect for, an all-time great, or somebody just threw it at us and wanted us to talk about him. This week is one of arguably the top, it's definitely a top 3 fighter. Could arguably be the greatest of all time, along with John Jones, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, one of the all-time greats, 26-2, man.
Card in Montreal, best time to bring him. He's French Canadian.
Oh, right. Best time to bring him up. He's the greatest.
He'll be in the crowd, I promise.
Absolutely.
You. They wait to hear the pop he gets.
Yeah, so 3-time welterweight champ, 1-time middleweight champ, ended his career on a 13-fight win streak with winning the middleweight title, and then stop because he was just burned out. When you talk about a guy, and I'll let Boogie explain, pure mixed martial artist. Would you agree?
He is the first one, in my opinion, who didn't have one core speciality. Like, he's not, I'm a wrestler and then I can box a little bit, or your discipline. He could do everything. He could take you down. He could stand up and beat you to death. He could put you to sleep on the ground. You could hardly wrestle him because he was the best. He was good at every single discipline you could. He was the very, very first, like how we started the card off with, or the show off with, about how everybody today is an all-around mixed martial artist. He was the very first one who didn't come in as a knockout artist, didn't come in as a Gracie, like a jiu-jitsu guy. He came in as, you couldn't give a takedown because he could out-wrestle the best wrestler. He could fight with the best boxers, kickboxers, best submission guys. He could do it all.
He could be flashy. He could be grindy. He was. There wasn't a bad matchup for him. He fought anybody. He was the smartest, man. I mean, his 2 losses. Do you remember who he lost to?
Well, I mean, one was the lucky one from.
It was Matt Serra.
Matt Serra.
Matt Serra knocked him out. Matt Hughes beat him in his third UFC career.
Matt Hughes was my guy, and he beat, when he got back to beat the belt, he beat Matt Hughes by wrestling him. Matt Hughes is a wrestler. Now he had a gas tank go forever, but his core was wrestling. And GSP, the second match, just wrestling, and I don't know if he ended up submitting him. I can't remember.
Yeah, he submitted him once, I think, in decision. He beat Matt Hughes twice. So his 2 losses, he avenged them both. He destroyed Matt Serra in the second
that was
fight.
Just such a lucky shot.
So what the UFC did was something that was outrageous now, looking back at it. But they always have the show Ultimate Fighter. But what they did was they said the winner of the show is going to fight the welterweight champion of the world, George St. Pierre. They're like, what the heck?
And the season was like people who were in MMA or at UFC and they like fell off the map.
Yeah, it was like coming up.
The comeback.
The comeback. So it was guys that like weren't even top prospects,
He was supposed to be, GSP was supposed to come out there and just
I guarantee you he came in the fight unprepared, thinking I'm a minus 2,200 favorite. I'm going to kill this guy. And he got head kicked and he learned a lesson.
It's a valuable lesson. It was, Sarah, and he talks so much shit. Sarah's another. But New York guy, he's hilarious to listen to.
Yeah, he's absolutely hilarious. He's Dana White's buddy, man.
So he's a New York guy, and every other word's a cuss word, F word, but he's awesome. But after he won the belt, and then he started talking about GSP and Canada. He dogged him bad personally, and then GSP was like, oh. Well. Then he took it personally, like Khabib took
Yeah,
shit person.
right.
And he come in and he made Matt Serra quit. He beat him to death. It was so big. He could have finished him earlier, but it was just more like,
Yeah.
hey,
Oh, he beat
I'm
him
gonna
down,
teach
man.
you.
Them knees were just
And
vicious.
kept
And he let
beating him.
so, when it comes to George St. Pierre, he has the second longest streak ever on holding a title at 2,200 days. Like I said already, he ended his fight career on a 13-fight win streak. So it wasn't like the fight game caught up to him.
I'll put an asterisk on that because the Jimmy, what's his name, the guy who beat him to death and lost the decision. Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks beat him to death, and he was robbed. Now Hendricks is on steroids.
You're absolutely right.
But Hendricks
he got a decision, but
beat him.
Yeah,
that was terrible. And we've seen Hendricks was like, I gotta what the hell do I have to do to win?
So
that might have been a Canada card too, I think.
My thing with that fight is at the time, I was rooting for Johnny Hendricks so bad. I loved that the American was putting it on him, you know. So looking at it now, after seeing what Johnny Hendricks did immediately after he stopped juicing, he was a complete can, getting knocked out, finished straight out of the UFC. Yep. I'm glad that George St. Pierre doesn't have that loss on his record, but he deserved to lose that night.
Yeah, he lost that fight that night, but I think GSP said, he's like, everybody's on steroids. Yeah. I can't keep up because I'm doing it fair. Yeah. And you look at GSP, he's chiseled. Yeah. Like in a dog. I mean, that's the body anybody wants to have.
My comparison, really, if I think about it to try to talk in like layman terms with people that are newer with the MMA game, is like George St. Pierre was Tom Brady. He did everything right. Everything. I mean, he ate right. There was no off season. All the small things were huge to him.
The legends, whenever he was training, if you listen to, might have been DC, Dana Cormier was talking about the training that he would continue to do takedowns. And if there was something wasn't perfect, it would do it over. Like, the camp's over, but he would, like, this takedown, this move had to be specifically done exactly right. And like, no, well, I got it work. No, it didn't work the way I wanted to. Like, hours until he got it down, perfected in his mind the way he wanted it to look. Yeah. And that's what it takes. I said, Brady, say what you want about him. He put in the time, the diet,
for him to perform that long, he's the all-time greatest. Even though I hated him, but I just think that's a fair comparison. Yeah. The work ethic is equal to them. So some of his wins, notable wins, George St. Pierre. He has 2 wins over B.J. Penn, all-time great. I mean, B.J. Penn is a fan favorite for numerous reasons. 2-time wins over Matt Hughes, welterweight all-timer, man, a multiple champ. He also has wins against Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, and his last fight was against Michael Bisping, and he beat him for the middleweight championship.
Middleweight, yeah.
He submitted him, yeah.
And that was pre One Eye Bisping too. He could still box.
Yeah,
he's still
with him, man.
That's perfect. I mean, but Bisping he talks shit. And now, like you said, I think we hated him before.
I like him now, man. Yeah, and to see Bisping having one eye and passing all those tests with one eye is so impressive, man.
Yeah, I'd not be able to see. I mean, hell, wait.
So, to wrap up the GSP talk, there was always a fight. His whole career, he was going to fight this guy. We couldn't wait because we were going to find out the all-time best of the best. And it never happened. Him and George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva were always trying to be rumored to fight because George could move up, Anderson could move down, they could make it at 185. Well, Anderson was a 185er for most of his career, so George would just move up, and it just never came to fruition. And I think we got robbed of that opportunity because we're talking about in their prime, 2 of the top 3 of all time, man. That was a fantasy matchup that was debated at that time forever, man.
Pacquiao Mayweather, and it puts it in mind of that. And anybody in boxing, like those are the 2 everybody wanted to see fight in their prime.
Yeah,
they drug it out, so they fought when they were too old and washed up. This one for GSP and Silva didn't get to fruition, unfortunately. Man.
And I would say, if I had to have any kind of prediction, it would be if Anderson came in ready, there was nobody better. I think Anderson would have been too big, could have caught him, but that's we'll never find out. We'll never know.
Man, it's so hard.
It is.
I bet, like you said, now a focused Anderson Silva couldn't be beat.
Yeah.
Goofing around, getting knocked out like he did against Weidman.
Yeah.
You're to play games, and I mean, but he was that good at the times where he could look what he did.
I've never seen a guy in Anderson Silva be so great that he lost motivation and he just didn't. He was bored. He was bored, man. Yeah. So I think that fight would have geared him up. Man, we missed an all-timer. That would have been up there with any of the famous boxing matches you could think of. That would have been 100%. Up there.
That was the one to see. And the thing was that they were close. They could have made that happen.
Yeah.
But it just didn't. At the end, that was the one we missed. That was huge.
I think us bringing up George St. Pierre, like you said, being in Montreal this week, that fit the mold. He's one of our. I wouldn't say I always rooted for the guy, but I most respected MMA fighters I watched or witnessed. So he had a great career. He's granted to be put on the MMA show, and we did our segment for him.
Yeah,
you know?
He'll be on the Mount Rushmore. They say he's got to be up there. His face is going to be
absolutely
Mount Rushmore just because he was the original. He could do everything.
Oh, well, complete. So to wrap up the show, our last segment, we have a top 5 as usual. Our top 5 this week, simple. Top 5 knockout artists in UFC history. And it's our favorite. It's subjective. It's not, we're just listing the top 5 best. But I'll let you start off, Boogie. Where do you have your number 5?
Check my
favorite knockout artist.
We kind of threw this together last minute, so you have to bear with us here. I'll start off when I know. I'll say right now, Cody Garbrandt would be number 5 because he could do everything, but whenever he could put his fist on before his chin went, he could knock anybody out. With one shot at 125, 35, you're going to sleep. He had that much power. He was fast enough not to get hit.
Very clean boxing, man. He was a killer, too. He had the killer instinct. My number 5 is the all-time MMA women's GOAT, and Amanda Nunes. When she was motivated, she was complete. Yes. She could do whatever she wanted. But when the knockouts that she had was just some of the most vicious. Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey just getting annihilated, Cyborg getting killed. These girls were heavy hitters. She was putting her lights out. She did it for her whole career. She was one of the most consistent, respectful, exciting MMA fighters, and I absolutely love to watch her fight. She's my favorite women's MMA fighter of all time, but she was a killer of killers, man.
She was focused. She could beat anybody.
Yeah.
And like I said, she good, but again, you see her record, she lost a lot of easy fights. But she would come in not focused and goof around, and she would lose fights just because she wasn't motivated. When she's motivated, there is nobody in the world that could touch her ever.
Yeah, she's the only 2-division champ in women's MMA where she held them both at the same time. Number 4, Boogie, you know what it is yet?
My number 4 is going to be Chuck the Iceman Liddell. That's kind of a low ranking for him, but when his prime too, he's another one that could put anybody. When he hit you, you would see just walk-offs. Boom. Yeah. A lot of pride fights that he came. Again, you have to go back in the day to where he could knock anybody out if he wanted to. His chin, but again, you're in so many wars, they add up, and that's why he started getting knocked out in the end. But
he was the first guy the UFC really could sell, because he was just flashy looking. He had a flashy style. It wasn't boring. He was going in there to kill you. Very much respected. He didn't make my top 5 list though.
Watch the ESPN special Chuck and I.
Oh my God, that's a great 30 for 30, wasn't it?
And you hear what Dana White said, just because of Tito Ortiz, he's like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll hear if you watch it, you see we're backing this guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah, right.
Chuck Liddell's the guy. This guy over here is not. He took a body shot. Yeah, and Liddell was like, what do I have to prove? I hit him, and let him get it and recover. They were in camp, and he's like, no, you keep hitting him. And he's like, why? He's dead.
Yeah.
Like Chuck Liddell was like, what's it going to matter? What if I keep hitting him?
Yeah. He knew he was done. He knew he was done.
Dana's like, that's the man, not Chuck.
So my number 4 is Junior Dos Santos, JDS, Sagano.
That was your guy.
He was my guy for a long time. Really fell off the face of the earth because Malice caught up to him too quick because he was always an exciting fight. But he had some of the best boxing. He went on a 5-6 fight stretch that he was just knocking people unconscious. Some of the most brutal knockouts, seeing guys just fold. Crisp left hooks, wheelhouse knockout with Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
He had some exciting.
Mark Hunt, of all people, who's head like a cinder block.
Yeah. I mean,
face down.
Until he started getting into the battles where Cain Velasquez just changed his career around. Absolutely, just took his career and just ripped it up like a piece of paper.
Even the fights he won, look at when he fought Stipe. I mean, Stipe took some out. When he lost one to Stipe, like...
Yeah, but he was winning, and then Stipe knocked him out. Yeah, he was... Yeah.
But, I mean, that was time where even when Junior won fights, his face is all banged up.
Yep,
Stuff.
he always... He had good movement, but he didn't block his chin, man. He was constantly getting caught.
Was he at the Brick House or Black House, whatever? I don't know if he was there or if he was at the Shooter Box, where they spar, like they're sparring as live fights.
Yeah, it was down there in Shooter Box. I think.
That's why you get great. Don't get me wrong, but you get hit a lot. It takes miles off.
So I mean, looking up his highlights, he was a very vicious knockout artist, man. And it wasn't like it was a ground and pound. Holy shit! It was usually a combo because he was a very crisp boxer, and it was sharp on the money. He makes my top 5. So our top 3. I'm interested to see where you landed on this.
Well, I only got 3, so. I thought it was a little bit late start, but I have Francis Ngannou.
Okay.
Who is, for him, he ground like a couple of decisions, but the way he beat Stipe the second time, and Stipe hit him. If you watch that fight, and you talk to Stipe said, I hit him, and I knew I hit him hard.
Yeah.
And he came in, and he put him, the first fight he won, he lost.
He beat Stipe.
He beat Stipe so bad. That's the reason that I think that...
Stipe?
No.
Francis? John Jones?
DC. That's why DC beat him, because he took the fight after
Ngannou
too quick, because Ngannou he hits so hard. And Stipe, he doesn't have good head movement either, so he's always beat up. And that was
that moment Stipe hit him, it was like the worst case scenario because Stipe got so excited.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah, and Ngannou bit down on his mouthpiece, and some of them, one of the most brutal.
Oh, the way his
just
knee looked
Jesus. And like you said, there hasn't been anybody with more power than Francis Ngannou. No. So, that's a
knocked
good
down Tyson Fury in boxing.
Yeah.
Not 14-ounce gloves, like pillows, and he knocked him down. I mean, the all-time best heavyweight champion knocked him.
So since you have 3, I'll rattle off my last 3, and then we can talk about them. Dan Hendo Henderson is my 3rd knockout artist. A guy had a name for his right hand, the Hendo bomb. Yep. When he hit you, you went night-night. He wasn't the most skilled striker, would you say?
No, well, he was an Olympic wrestler, like a freestyle wrestler. And then he just turned into I got an H-bomb over here, and I could hit you with it. And
he would put his head down, and if that thing landed...
Michael Bisping, look at that knockout. Yeah, another one.
Yikes.
A walk-off, and then he put the exclamation point on at the end.
Yeah, there's so many legendary fights that he would be losing and come in and just put his head down and come over with that overhand right. And until he was the very last fight of his career, he was never not counted out because he always had that thing loaded, and it only took one. He could lose 5 rounds, but if you hit him once, that was it.
That was, Tyler said, he was there. He could knock anybody. Like I said, whatever round, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
If you got caught sleeping, that thing, and you always seen it coming, the head's down, and it was like a bar room, overhand looping. Well, there was no technique to it. It was lower my head and swing as hard as I can.
Yep.
And he would always, and when he hit you, good night.
So, my number 2, somebody I don't know if you thought of or you looked down and came to mind, Derek Lewis, man. Derek Lewis is a top 5. That guy was like Dan Henderson, man. If he hit you once, you were going to sleep. You could lose the what was it, the Volkov fight? He was losing every minute of that fight until he caught him, and then he don't even know where he was.
Yeah, it was over. Yeah, Derek Lewis. That's a good. He's still alive, so he's still going.
One of the ones that come to mind is when Curtis Blades went for the shot and he uppercutted him and just flatlined him. And he had that one punch. Turn your lights off power. He might have the most knockouts of all time.
I think
we don't have a stat guy. I think he does too. But he's an all-time great. Not the most technical. Has holes in his game like crazy. You can take him down. He's a quitter at times. Mm-hmm. But there was not a more intimidating guy than Derek Lewis.
Well, when he fought in Ngannou, that we thought was going to be, look at this, there's two bombers going together and it turned to a snooze fest just because neither one wanted to get hit by either one, which I mean, I wouldn't want to get hit by either.
Yeah, they both played very tentative.
I mean,
don't look up the fight. One of the worst fights of all time. Yeah, that don't make my list as top 5 worst fights of all time, for sure. So my number 1 knockout artist of all time is a highlight reel. Anderson Silva, man. When that guy knocked people out, it was a highlight reel.
And he could do it with anything. I won't forget ever our guy, Forrest Griffin. He's backing up and hitting with a jab. And a former light heavyweight champion of the world moved up a weight class and was hitting with a jab backing up. And Forrest hit the ground, like, down. Quit.
Forrest hit the ground and waved like he didn't want no more because Forrest threw like 2 punches and then got cracked with a 3-piece. Forrest came again. He stepped back and jabbed him. And Forrest was done. Then after the fight, Forrest takes off running. He runs out of the cage. And we're like, what the hell's happening?
Dana White had to chase him down to get him back. Like, what the hell are you doing?
He said he lost hearing in his ear from that jab. And it scared him and he just ran out of fear. That's some power. But that guy, when he came into the UFC, like, I remember his first fight, Chris Lieben, they were like, who's this Anderson Silva guy? And Joe Rogan's like, he is going to kill Chris Lieben. And he put a Muay Thai clinic, need him to hell.
And Lieben could take shots from anybody, too.
Toughness,
but still, that fight, he was abused. And then you found out Anderson Silva was a real deal.
But, like, I mean, the Rich Franklin, knocking his nose sideways. The guy had dynamite in his hands. He was a highlight reel in the making. He is a top 3 in my opinion of all time.
He got bored, like you said. He got bored at the end of his career.
He gets bored, yeah.
To where, but you would see was it not Tyler Slatus? Who was he fighting?
Yeah, Tyler Slatus, when he just stood there and Tyler Slatus was on his back and he just kicked him. You actually got money back on that fight.
Pay-per-view.
Because it was so bad. That was the only time they gave money back.
That was terrible.
Yeah, when you look at Anderson Silva, man, he was just awesome, lightning in his hands. All-time highlight reel guy.
Effortless too. Some things he would do.
Saga he had with Chael Sonnen, man, was so dynamite. It was perfect. Like, it was just so perfect because Anderson could never sell it like that, and Chael was the best at it.
He is so good. I think when he was talking about Vanderlei, he's like, I didn't even know it. He was going to bus it. He was trying to feed carrots to the bus. When he did the Ultimate Fighter down in Brazil.
He's still so good, man. If you watch
the good
DC, they're amazing.
I get it. Like, I watch his podcast all the time. He said, come on, Big Nog was trying to feed the bus a carrot. Like, it's not.
I never heard that.
That's not a good. Oh my God.
It's not a good.
Just because. I mean, and he had to have. If you watch, like, if you can look up on YouTube, still, him and his wife had real armed security, like special forces watching him, and he says, "Get down." And him and his wife were scared. Like, they're down in Brazil, and there was a car in the highway, just kept following him. He's like, and he'll never forget. Like, he's seen the guys getting their little hand pistols. Like, lay down and don't move because this car was following him in out of traffic.
You're talking about Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva. They coached the Ultimate Fighter together down in Brazil, correct?
Yeah.
That's the backstory. That's the backstory of the story.
And because Chael has he could sell it still better than anybody, better than Conor. Chael was just great on the mic.
And Vanderlei was over the hill too at that time.
He would just just destroy Brazil. And any of the Brazilians will come down, they'll cut your throat for anything. How prideful they are, and he would.
And mentally, he ran circles around Vanderlei. Man, Chael ran circles.
But Vanderlei was like, that's my pride in my country. Yeah. And Vanderlei, and everybody in Brazil was the same way. He had to have armed security, an armored car, and the car followed him and his wife. And he said, "Lay down in the back seat." The guy was just ended up being somebody who was trying to get off the exit, but they pulled out their machine guns, like, "Get down, we're gonna have a shootout." And he was like, Chael doesn't break character. He's like, "Scarce ever been in my life." Me and my wife was in the back of the car thinking we're going to die because we made fun of Vanderlei.
Yeah, right.
They took it that serious in Brazil. But if you look it up on YouTube when he says, "Big Nog's trying to feed the bus a carrot," that's a donkey.
That's hilarious. Then they almost get into it.
They got into it.
And then he's like, I can't let you touch me. Get close to me. And he takes him down. And that's a different story for a different day.
Yeah,
but we're going to wrap it up, man. We could go on this random stuff all night. I hope you guys check it out. Click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe. Till next time, we'll see you in a couple weeks for the MMA show. Good job, Boogie.
Sir.
Yep, we're out of here.